Hi, wife.
Hello again. How's it going?
Yes, it's been such a long time since I said hello to you. We've spent so much time apart. But we're here. Doing live streaming again. Hopefully somebody will come in. We're going to talk about... We're going to do some 1984 reading.
If anybody knows words anymore, fucking cave people.
I'm just as guilty, wife. I am an idiot cave person.
If we listen to people, just thought about it, we need a microphone or a headset. Because it'll play out of there, won't it? Out of the TV?
Maybe.
Where else would it?
Yeah. Alright, well, we got one. Well, if we get one, wife, we'll be okay to go. So we're gonna read 1984. We're gonna talk about it some. Try to talk about. I think I'm gonna actually start off doing something a little different. I found some stuff on the interwebs there, baby, that might be related to 1984. It's one of your favorite subjects. Found a couple articles online. I haven't read them myself, but they contain the topic of Scientology, which I think is a little... It has some comparisons to 1984.
It has comparisons to everything that it mimics as well. If it follows under the law, then the law is fucking wrong. So, government is no better than fucking Scientology.
Oh. No, the law of man, though. The law. Let's see here. Let me bring this up. So, Scientology is in the news. That dude from that 70s show? So, a while ago, he got convicted of...
Rape.
I guess today was his sentencing, and they gave him 30 years.
To teach him to teach people a lesson instead of doing justice, because they're not doing anything about Scientology.
Yeah, it seems like the cause of why these things happened wasn't addressed. That guy got a lot of power being in Scientology, and plus the stuff with the celebrity, I'm sure, gives you more power than most regular people. You can get away with a lot of stuff.
Get away with.
It gives you the power to do
things beyond the law of man.
Yeah. It made me think about some of that really big Scientology documentary we watched. Learned all that stuff about Sea Org. Man, that made me think about the thought police. You do anything different, go for re-education, quote unquote.
Mormons do that too. And really, so does every religion. They have a re-education program in Judaism too.
Really?
They just tell people. Yeah, you remember Nathan Fielder? He brought that Jewish lady home to talk to...
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And she didn't want to hear anything. Re-education is just, I'm gonna tell you what is, and you must obey.
No, yeah, there's definitely no questioning in re-education.
Don't parents do the same fucking thing? And also do as I say, not as I do?
Yeah, my parents did that a lot. I think everybody's has. I think that's why, one of the many reasons why
Children are so stupid these days.
Yeah.
We got forces at every freaking angle telling them what is, and they just have to pick a side. Because if they pick their own side, they can't talk about it because everybody's telling them what to do. That is not how you think. That is not how you speak.
That is not language. That's not how this works. That's not how...
Come talk to me when you can say words right. Come talk to me when you obey. Fuck off.
It's staggering how I feel like since we've been back compared to when we started, like the wanting to talk, I feel like it's gotten even fucking worse.
Has it? I thought maybe we were just not pushing the right buttons.
I'll have to consider that. That could also be... I remember you spending a lot of time on Twitter before, going back and forth with people, and it seemed a little more positive than, like, I didn't read a damn thing you said. People were talking, they may have been talking in circles,
It's possible, but it's also possible that you would need the same person doing a different thing in order to know that for sure. Maybe it's just the people who decide to say things are the ones who decide to say nothing. I don't know. I wonder what his siblings think, because his siblings are Scientologists as well. The other, that guy from Malcolm in the Middle, and that big titty chick from The Walking Dead. The fat diversity hire. No, there's plenty of fatties in that show.
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of unfit people surviving the apocalypse there.
They joined little towns and they submitted to people like the governor or wherever the hell they came from. Protect me. Isn't it? The weak win now. So is it really that surprising?
No.
The meekest of us all are controlling us all.
Yeah.
And they're making it safe for the meekest.
And the weaker that...
The meek shall inherit the earth. Good. So the retards, the idiots, the fucking...
The incapable.
While communism kills the people who think. Just communism. It's everybody too.
In that show, nobody searched for freedom, did they? Nobody... like, well, we're in a group now. We got to come up with rules.
It was about survival, but I guess in a way they try to give people freedom until they started taking it away and going crazy themselves because they couldn't control a group of scared infants. Somehow the few they just got along. They could just look at each other and know exactly how they're gonna kill that zombie. It's just a pipe dream. And everybody dreams about bashing each other's heads in.
Could have been talking. I could have been talking to you, wife.
The zombie apocalypse is already here. You could get unzombified, or you could die a fucking idiot. And
it's simple things to do. Doesn't mean it's fucking easy. But it is simple.
Making an effort to understand what someone is saying and be able to reiterate it, yeah, it's not that hard.
And if you say you're out for understanding, I'm guilty of this. Say, I want to understand, and you start off the conversation with an argument.
People don't understand that language is directional.
No.
People don't understand that everything is directional. Like, age is nothing but a number. Or age is just a, whatever the fuck they say. Is it just a number, or does it convey points in time and length in time?
Yeah, the number of revolutions we've gone around the sun.
Experience.
And in comparison, your stage in life.
Invalid fucking arguments. We live in a world where people proclaim themselves teachers and tell people to fuck off.
What kind of teaching's that?
It's Twitter teaching. It's everybody is freaking angry and they don't have any other outlet but to silently be angry in their head as they tippy-type their stupid words. Not taking into account the effect those words have on people, places, and things. People because people hear those words, places, and things because people listen to those words and act. Sorry, beyond your fucking control, stupid. People are so stuck in their imagination that they don't understand the difference between imagination and fucking real life. Fuck. I'm sorry. It's ignorant. Why are you even saying words? Why are you even bitching about the problems in the world when you can't even see that you're contributing to them? What is the point? What are you doing? What is anybody freaking doing? I just want to be heard by my overlords when I bitch about the things that I don't like about them. Fuck off, idiot.
And I want them to take care of me. I don't want to hear the things that hurt, the things that are real.
They told me that if I submit, they'll take care of me. Where's my insurance? Where's my weekly check for just existing? You print money, right? It's their fault for disassociating reality from the reasons that they fucking do things. That's government.
It deadens the value of
everything. Of life. Now, nobody has value for anything they do but to somehow express or alleviate their suffrage. Ugh.
We are living in 1984. Not the year, but the book.
Stacy, Madonna, way before Nirvana. And then we got to 1985 and nobody gave a shit anymore.
Who is that, wife?
Bowling for Soup?
Bowling for Soup.
At first I saw Sterling for Silver, but it helped me find its real name, so...
Fight for Fighting?
Five the boy band? Five the gum? Five the number? 555 the fake number?
1984. It's what it's like to chew 5 gum.
Well, it's like chew 5 gum and it's just Winston getting fucking tortured.
People getting shot in the back of the head, dark alleys.
That's what it's like to use Johnson & Johnson products.
Yeah. Well, the bullet takes a long time.
Does the bullet take a... Oh, their bullet.
Yeah.
I got you. How do people expect understanding happens? How do... And understanding has to happen because people are saying things that they mean to have heard, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't think about it. Like we were talking about those liminal spaces things that those videos, people are just assuming, oh, and in the darkest depths of your mind, you know that a train symbolizes this. Fuck you. What bullshit are you, what butt are you pulling that out of?
Which butt? Tell me, sir.
I'd like to follow the leads.
You want to do the Triggs wife?
Oh my god. Show me the trigs then. Oh, you wouldn't understand. Okay. It's all just, it's like they're all talking like Russian bots and all calling each other Russian bots. I bet you Russian bots don't even exist.
It's just idiots.
It's just idiots. Making more idiots. That's creation in motion.
That is a fucking mess.
But actually, you're literally drowning me right now. I am in water and my voice is going as I gasp for air. Literally.
People like to talk about there's all these systemic problems. Whatever their solutions are doesn't go to all the systems, so it's not systemic.
They don't explain what systems, what routes. There's what's the root of this system. They don't know. They just want to say fucking words.
Well, if you can find the truth in things, then that applies.
I don't want the truth. Don't misgender me, okay?
Your gender's the truth.
Because saying words is equal to biology. Don't misgender me. Don't cisgender me. Don't systematically cisgender me.
I'm being systematically cisgendered. Oh, yeah. It's...
People wonder why people do violent things. Maybe you're not listening. Maybe they weren't listened to at some point, and now they're just saying things to not be listened to, and everything's fucked. Either way, somebody's got to take the first fucking step.
Yeah. When my last job was, getting real bad with the stupidity, it made me think about that dude who shot up all those people in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it kind of applies to everyone, but I remember you and I watching videos of all these people repeatedly. How could this happen? It's like, well, every day he's got to wake up and
deal with this bullshit.
And hurt we could talk for hours about all of the reasons. Things aren't going well for anyone except for wealthy, bad people.
And really, it's not going good for them either if we're going to use good as an absolute thing.
It's leading to our destruction, everyone's destruction.
But it's what they are doing and what they continue to decide to do.
Yeah.
They want to pull families apart. They want to pull people apart. They want to ask dumb questions and have dumb people answer them and leave it at that. And then make laws about it. Oh my god.
Putting these things, and there's all these consequences if you use your brain.
Because if you use your brain, the authority gets questioned. And authority doesn't like to be questioned. Even the authority, I have my own Twitter account, and I can say and do whatever I want, even if it's destructive. There's no thought, there's no going towards the other person with your inside world and trying to allow them just a space, just to simulate. No, I need my space because all of the physical space has been taken.
Yeah, by these ridiculous rules. Just to use these
rulers are supposed to measure. And if the measurement's wrong, then what is rule or ruler? Just bad statistics or bad math?
Bad information.
Well, let's use a yardstick to measure the salinity in water. You fucking benchodes. Let's fucking bitch that the whole world is burning and not realize that when you yell the world is burning, the world is more easily burned. Because who's gonna do anything about it? You're just gonna scream with your shorts on fire?
And not try to pat yourself out. Not try to move the fuck away from the fire.
But adults taught us stop, drop, and roll, so...
And to hide under desks for nuclear...
I'm pretty sure if somebody's on fire, they know to stop what they're doing and try to put their fire out. Like, it's the infantilization of people is true and real. If my mother had to be taught that, then I must be just as stupid. Or my mother was stupid, so that means I'm stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, they get taught dumb things, and you're a kid and you don't know until you learn later, hopefully, that they were taught stupid. You are influenced by
What experience, though, do people have these days? You let your kids go out, they go get molested. The school is there to just put all this useless information into you. You need it to get a degree, you need it to get a good job. And then your job just What about Japan? Don't they, in their culture, they have what are they called? Not inappropriate bosses, when they use you and abuse you. We were watching that zombie anime.
Oh yeah, these abusive companies.
Yeah, whatever word they use, they talk about it, and yet, what's being done about it? You know, they constantly think about it. They make the videos about it, and the people suffer it, and they talk about it, and then they drink the beer, and they make the animes.
They put up nets and fences so you don't jump off buildings. That's what they do about it.
Nobody's being heard, and now that nobody's being heard, they expect to just keep until they die. What else is there to do, right?
Right.
Let's all just give up, right? Let's not start just in the very basic fundamental with the self. I don't want my enemy to win, so I don't want to be my enemy. I would just be, if you fight on the side of your enemy, if you use his banner and start killing your allies, you're fighting for your enemy. Doesn't matter how many you take out of the other guy, too, if you're just swinging randomly.
Yeah, you are your enemy. You let them win. You've become the thing that hurts you.
There's a point now where we have to see what we're doing and make the conscious decision. We don't have free will just to bitch all day. We can use that free will for other things instead of just talking about it in reference to the Bible. Okay, so use your free will. What's the measurement of free will? Do you have to be told what free will is? Or will you explore it yourself? Can you explore it in a good way without... I don't know what bad people do, all the bad things. But without, oh, look at me, I got free will, I'm chopping kids' heads off. I'm shooting up this and that. Why aren't they using their free will to find something good? If God is good, if whatever religion is good, if life is good, then look for it. Instead of bitching because someone's not giving it to you.
And looking for it doesn't mean ignoring the bad things.
No, it's gonna fucking hurt. Sorry, you're gonna hurt. Mommy and daddy isn't there to protect you. Oh, but daddy government is. Big brother.
Big brother. Big
Protect
brother's
me,
there.
big brother. Protect me from the East Asias and the West Asias.
Protect me from hard work.
Make sure that I get my ration of chocolate.
Protect me from mean words.
Protect me from myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand myself. Because I thought people just knew things back in the day when agriculture happened and we slowly evolved to, like, computers and stuff. We were maybe ancient aliens. They gave us all this knowledge and we lost it. What do we do? Help me, George Tzoukalis. Wow.
Neil Tyson, tell me.
And he's such an asshole that I'll never forget that. Not that I care, but I've always hated Tyson because he's always had no purpose. Okay, you make guest appearances because you recategorized how big a planet should be. So now you took Pluto away. Fuck you. You're useless. What have you added? And what's the benefit of redesignating planets? Tell me what you did right. So he talks to that Katy Perry chick, and she's asking genuine questions. If she doesn't know, just tell her. Don't belittle her. Don't give her the textbook things, because I'm sure she went to fucking school.
And obviously the schooling didn't work that well because
You can say things in different ways. The textbooks say things in all the same ways, basically. Because everybody argues the same way on the internet and in real life. So, he can't even reword the things. Oh, and when he tried to make the trust the science, fuck you. What science do you do, idiot?
I can't trust people to not run me over when I walk across the street, and I should trust you with more?
Yeah, and I know how terrorizing careers are and how man-eating that system is, and yet I'm gonna think that they're not gonna try to shoot me up? What if I'm mean to my doctor? Is he just gonna mistreat me because I'm angry, because he won't answer my question, or because we are miscommunicating, or...
Because doctors are also immune to being nasty. They're immune to mistakes.
Yeah. That's why you give someone, what was it, steroids for an infection?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot bitch. But what do I know? Because I didn't go to school. Trust the science. So, you have to learn after they make mistakes. And there's no knowledge. Trust the science. You don't know anything, but we haven't been learning from their mistakes, right?
Yeah. No observation. That lady was gonna have you go and have a dangerous surgery.
Rip my face out.
Because she could not spot a freaking infection.
Yeah. How many x-rays does it take to see a thing that all x-rays see? How many idiots, how many professional idiots does it take for me to cry all day?
So,
all of them.
You can't trust the people who you're like, okay, doctor, I'm entrusting you with my health. Don't give me bad advice, and you're gonna put that same trust even more, or more so. I mean, into people in the government.
How much do people trust themselves?
Why? I guess maximum.
They're taught. Are you sure?
Well, they're never wrong.
Does that mean they trust? I mean, by default, if you're
I guess
only
they're delusional in that, but
I mean, how? I don't even know how to really answer that question. Who do they trust? Is it just chaos? Is it just whatever it makes me feel the most comfortable, the most safe, the most entertained, the most something that isn't whatever the truth is? It is the truth because I think it. That's why you have to separate.
I've been hurt by my feelings, and I want you to make decisions so I don't have to include feelings anymore. But make sure they don't hurt my feelings.
Have to separate people from the rest of the universe to see exactly what people are. They're just animals. Oh, they're sentient beings. Oh, indigo children. Oh, we were created by aliens. Oh, evolution. Oh, evolution from this, evolution from that. Instead of starting somewhere observable and working their way backwards. That would be too much to ask. For science to do the scientific method. It's too much to ask these days. It's like, well, I'm not wrong. I go around. If boinging children are wrong, then someone would stop me. And then somebody goes and boings all the children, nobody stops them. I guess I'm right. That's science. I saw a pattern, and there are no contradictions. And they stop there. The papers I had to read for college, all to do with religion, never got to anything about understanding the motives of people.
Why is there so many tablets to tell us what to do? Is it because everyone's acting crazy? They don't know what to do in the desert?
All these assumptions are made before the questions are asked. People. Here is an example. Maybe it started like with the subliminal seduction. Marketing people, and that silly old Matt Pat YouTube guy, the fucking Susan sucker.
Susan sucker.
He said that some research indicated that people don't know what they want unless they're just being told what to have, you know, or if you give them, oops, you know, or if you give them, oops, you know, or if you give them,
Yes.
I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. Matty Patty, Patrick Matrick, he was like, oh, this is why this happens, because marketing people who are there to manipulate show research that people don't know what they want. That doesn't account for how we got here to a place where there are so many options. Because what's good for you? What's bad for you? What does this taste like? I only have a certain amount of money, so what should I spend it on? None of that. But people are stupid because they can't make their own decisions. Fuck you. The logic in that, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But you understand what I'm saying? Is that people are stupid because they can't make their own decisions, so just give them one thing to have. And then let's not count for suffering. And, oh, this thing is really cheap, so I'm going to use it to alleviate my suffering, and I like this thing as opposed to another thing because you didn't make that other thing. It's like just fucking generalities. Oh, but we could create AI, right?
Yeah,
Get it. So should
It's
we?
weird.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that it's weird how when things get to the ridiculous, AI is usually what comes up as a blatant example of nobody knows fucking anything.
But how can you make artificial intelligence when you haven't even figured out intelligence?
Yeah.
Maybe just intelligence is school learning. Oh, it can store a whole bunch of information, then make a picture based on all of these things. That's not, and I'm gonna be scared that new things are at risk of AI making it. It's just gonna be AI generated art, solar sands. They can't create new things. They have to be programmed.
Yeah, they have to absorb information from the outside.
We have to experience it for it to be a thing that's in reality. We have to create it first. If they create it first, it's just an amalgamation of the things that we know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that you, for an argument's sake, somebody can, all this AI is making all this art. All right, robot, make me a Bob Ross. Use that style. Well, there's who's gonna program that shit? How do you program it to one physically do the thing?
I would imagine that you just lower its, instead of all the art, just Bob Ross art, reduce I'm at a loss for the word that best describes that. But you take that and you put in, probably use this kind of art, but look at this day, look at this night, look at this horse, look at this. And the oil pastels are this thick. And these are the tools that are used, and this is the thoughts of Bob Ross.
Gotta know how to, you gotta code the thing first.
But every time you look at somebody who's made art like Bob Ross, they took his lessons or whatever, all of it is still a little different.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I'm not sure. We would have to go make our own AI.
All that art comes from very uniquely human places. Where creation is, and we don't move towards creation, so how the fuck are we going to program creation?
We don't know a damn thing about creation.
No, so how is it going to create art? It can't.
It's going to simulate what we think we know about something.
Yeah, it can. People, oh, it's so smart. It just makes weighted decisions. But shall we jump into some of this reading here? We've been riffing for about 40 minutes.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay. We're going to start again here. Chapter 2. As he put his hand to the doorknob, Winston saw that he had left the diary open on the table. "Down with Big Brother" was written all over it, in letters almost big enough to be legible across the room. It was an inconceivably stupid thing to have done. But, he realized, even in his panic, he had not wanted to smudge the creamy paper by shutting the book while the ink was wet.
He chose the joy of the paper and writing "Down with Big Brother" more than he chose the risk of his own life.
Yeah. Something he knew that would cost him his life, and he knew something that should be appreciated. He's got value for the book. He doesn't have value for his life, or at least not the right value.
Well, that's complicated to kind of say, because maybe his life is getting to write on that paper. I could relate. I like paper and pens.
You do. We've explored some fun areas.
Let's explore reading more of this book.
All right, wife. He drew in his breath and opened the door. Instantly, a warm wave of relief flowed through him. A colorless, crushed-looking woman with wispy hair and a lined face was standing outside.
he's not. That's very short term, cause he's a sigh of relief because there was a chick and not Big Brother already.
Yeah, thought police, somebody there to.
But it's still there, being seen on seen on camera. They'll probably get to him eventually. I don't know. I never read the book though.
Oh, comrade, she began in a dreary, whining sort of voice. I thought I heard you come in. Do you think you could come across and have a look at our kitchen sink? It's got blocked up and... It was Mrs. Parsons, the wife of a neighbor on the same floor. Mrs. was a word somewhat discountenanced by the party. You were supposed to call everyone comrade, but with some women one used it instinctively. She was a woman of about 30, but looking much older. One had the impression that there was dust in the creases of her face. Winston followed her down the passage. These amateur repair jobs were an almost daily irritation.
The sloppiest people are the most obedient people. Seems like.
Yeah.
Or the at least in his what is it called, in his class or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Most subservient. I don't know if O'Brien could be considered as obedient.
His party rank, I guess, instead of class, maybe.
The more they participate, it seems, the more more they participate in all of those things, but we don't really know. Maybe that's just an assumption because we only know one family. Julia's in those things and she wants to wear makeup and stuff. At least I have the impression that they're overworked, those people, and their children hate them. So what's the point in being clean or living well?
Yeah, and
just like that New York Times.
That's a outside thing. That's not what the party tells. The party doesn't tell them to be clean.
Yeah, they don't need to do that, so that's fine. They do have to work out though. Ugh. That's unfortunate. Oh, the New Yorker magazine where they had that chick who was just spending time online all day and like there was cat shit on the floor and garbage everywhere. It relates to that probably. Okay, sorry.
Victory mansions were old flats built in 1930 or thereabouts and were falling to pieces. The plaster flaked constantly from the ceilings and walls. The pipes burst in every hard frost. The roof leaked whenever there was snow. The heating system was usually running at half steam when it was not closed down altogether from motives of economy.
I wonder how you get an apartment. Are you just allotted one at some point? And who do you call? Who?
I bet you're assigned an apartment.
Probably not a person you can call when there's repairs to be done. Nobody listens. That's the same problem with like YouTube. There's nobody there who can claim they're responsible for doing the thing that is best for the platform and people at the same time. Fuck you, YouTube.
They definitely don't do what's best for the thing that...
They want to play that game because that game can bring in money. As long as they keep playing that game, they can keep making money.
I lost my place here, wife. Oh, here we go. Repairs, except what you could do for yourself, had to be sanctioned by remote committees, which were liable to hold up even the mending of a window pane for 2 years.
Jeez. Well, at least there's a place to call. Walmart.com, how can I help you?
Welcome to Amazon Tech Support. Of course, it's only because Tom isn't home, said Mrs. Parsons vaguely. The parsonage flat was bigger than Winston's, and dingy in a different way. Everything had a battered, trampled-on look, as though the place had just been visited by some large, violent animal. Games impedimenta, hockey sticks, boxing gloves, a burst football, a pair of sweaty shorts turned inside out, lay all over the floor.
I have a question real quick.
Uh-huh.
I was just thinking, there was a time where people went from living in houses far away from each other to living in apartments with a lot of people. There was always cities and stuff, but with even more people in it. And I wonder if cleanliness is really something that can just be, I knew how to do it and now I know how to do it again. I know how to do it in a different way to maintain a house. Lots of windows, lots of open things, you just sweep the shit out and there you go. When people lived in cities, they would throw their piss pots outside.
Yeah, streets were littered. It was gross.
Where do people and the opportunity to do better come together? It's almost like it's expected and you're shamed for not thinking a certain way, and then it becomes into culture that, oh, you don't brush your teeth 16 times a day, or whatever people.
You're not PC, bro?
Yeah. You don't know these words that make everybody feel bad. You don't want to hear about... I don't want to hear about your intentions with words, but you better listen to mine. The communication, too. Everything is like...
I was told by my enslavers what these words mean.
If we're not moving in the right direction, then we're not moving in the direction of thinking about those things. There's 10 million other things to worry about. You got 18 kids running around because your husband comes home drunk and just bangs you, like some kind of industrial revolution kind of time. It's like, when do you have to, this would be the best way to make sure that we keep clean. He's stamping all over the place with this coal mining shit, and I don't know, it just seems like nobody's really considering anything.
No, everybody's in here, and there's no such thing as the outside world, really.
Well, how could this next door neighbor be so gross? Well, why should she give a shit? And everybody makes hoarders and like feel terrible.
Yeah.
We're gonna take your stuff. That's why they're hoarding in the first place. They want something that is theirs. They want those things. Somehow it brings them comfort, and you just want to take it away.
Yeah.
But what are the outlining factors of wanting to keep old newspapers and rat feces? It's not considered because everybody wants to bitch and go to bed and go to work and masturbate. We all want to masturbate.
Some of us more than others. I'm looking at you, Craven.
Leave the little boy alone.
So all this sports stuff, it lays all over the floor. And on the table, there was a litter of dirty dishes and dog-eared exercise books. On the wall were scarlet banners of the Youth League and the Spies.
Also, everybody has cameras in their houses. The telescreens or whatever. So it's interesting that nobody's like, hey, clean that shit up, Because they tell him, you're somebody, hey, comrade, you're not exercising.
You're not exercising, or you're not shaved, I think isn't that one?
Oh, maybe too, yeah.
So they do tell them, just exercise and there's be clean shaved. Why? But not don't live in
maybe
squalor.
It's just the kids that are just throwing shit around. She eventually picks it all up.
There were scarlet banners of the Youth League and the Spies, and a full-size poster of Big Brother. There was the usual boiled cabbage smell, common to the whole building, but it shot through by a sharper reek of sweat, which one knew this at first sniff, though it was hard to say how, was the sweat of some person not present at the moment. In another room, someone with a comb and a piece of toilet paper was trying to keep tune with the military music, which was still issuing from the telescreen. "It's the children," said Mrs. Parson, casting a half-apprehensive glance at the door.
Infantile entertainment. As long as they're entertained, they're entertained. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's Coco Melon or freaking Jeffrey Epstein.
Just keep me entertained. Keep me away from my own thoughts.
Well, kids don't know that they can be with their thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything sucks on the outside, at least from what I can remember as a child. So you get lost in your thoughts, but then something comes on and you experience that. I don't know if there's much more to a child's thinking than that.
Oh, we'll find out here soon.
Maybe. Maybe I'll eat them like an anglerfish. I'll reabsorb our babies back into our body. Through no fault of my own. No intent of my own, anyway.
"It's the children," said Mrs. Parson, casting a half-apprehensive glance at the door. "They haven't been out today. And of course," like a dog.
Yeah.
They haven't been out. And of
They haven't
course,
been vaccinated, so they're all a ruckus.
I gotta keep them at home.
She probably loves when those kids leave. Oh, that maybe that's why it's so messy there.
She had a habit of breaking off her sentences in the middle. The kitchen sink was full nearly to the brim with filthy greenish water, which smelt worse than ever of cabbage. Winston knelt down and examined the angle joint of the pipe. He hated using his hands, and he hated bending down, which was always liable to start him coughing. Mrs. Parson looked on helplessly. "Of course, if Tom was home, he'd put it right in a moment," she said. "He loves anything like that. He's ever so good with his hands, Tom is." Parsons was Winston's fellow employee in the Ministry of Truth. He was a fattish but active man of paralyzing stupidity, a mass of imbecile enthusiasm. One of those completely unquestioning, devout drudges on whom, more even than on the thought police, the stability of the party depended. At 35, he had just been unwillingly evicted from the Youth League, and before graduating into the Youth League, he had managed to stay on in the Spies for a year beyond the statutory age. At the ministry, he was employed in some subordinate post for which intelligence was not required. But on the other hand, he was a leading figure on the sports committee, and all the other committees engaged in organizing community hikes, spontaneous demonstrations, saving campaigns, and voluntary activities generally.
What are they doing? What campaigns? Like the second one?
Engaged, community hikes, spontaneous demonstrations.
What are they demonstrating?
Support of Big Brother, I guess.
You go, girl.
It's definitely not anything opposing.
I mean, maybe he was demonstrating his ninja skills or his ability to eat a hot dog real fast.
He would inform you with quiet pride, between whiffs of his pipe, that he had put in an appearance at the community center every evening for the past 4 years. An overpowering smell of sweat, a sort of unconscious testimony to the strenuousness of his life, followed him about wherever he went, and even remained behind him after he had gone.
Why do I stink then? I don't do shit.
You got a pretty strenuous life, wife.
Oh.
This world does that. Because no one wants to fucking think.
Maybe some people do. That's why I try not to speak like everybody is the problem. But at this point, it almost feels like they are a problem if they're still fighting by themselves and not, joining forces or something. Learning with us how to do it the best. How to at least, conversate with each other first. Hey, I see an ally in you. Let's have a discussion.
Yeah, maybe we can do things better. I see you're capable of doing something that I am not.
Or not just capable, but just let's just talk.
Yeah.
Alright, let's just talk about Big Brother.
Have you got a spanner? Said Winston, fiddling with the nut on the angle joint. A spanner? Said Mrs. Parsons, immediately becoming invertebrate. I don't know. I'm sure. Perhaps the children. There was a trampling of boots and another blast on the comb as the children charged into the living room. Mrs. Parsons brought the spanner. Winston let out the water and disgustedly removed the clot of human hair that had blocked up the pipe.
What else freaking hair would it be? Oh, maybe a rat.
Chinchilla hair.
Their pet poodle.
He cleaned his fingers the best he could in cold water from the tap and went back into the other room. Up with your hands, yelled a savage voice. A handsome, tough-looking boy of 9 had popped up from behind the table and was menacing him with a toy automatic pistol, while his small sister, about 2 years younger, made the same gesture with a fragment of wood.
Huh?
Both of them were dressed in blue shorts, gray shirts, and a red neckerchief, which were the uniform of the spies. Winston raised his hands above his head, but with an uneasy feeling. So vicious was the boy's demeanor that it was not altogether a game. "You're a traitor!" yelled the boy. "You're a thought criminal! You're a Eurasian spy! I'll shoot you! I'll vaporize you! I'll send you to the salt mines!"
Sounds like every kid. It's almost like they know that they could just make them say anything and it has an effect on other people, but the kid's just like, whatever, until it's not whatever.
Suddenly, they were both leaping around him, shouting, "Traitor! Thought criminal!" The little girl imitating her brother in every moment. It was somehow slightly frightening, like the gamboling of tiger cubs, which will soon grow up into man-eaters. There was a sort of calculating ferocity in the boy's eye, and quite evident desire to hit or kick Winston, and a consciousness of being very nearly big enough to do so. It was a good job.
Squaring off. Remember you were saying you squared off with your uncle?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but...
Just try. It's survival. It's part of being part animal, part freaking human. Ooh, let's scratch my armpit. Ugh. It stinks.
I'll never use it again.
Burn it.
Yeah, burn it. It was a good job. It was not a real pistol, or he would... it was a good job. It was not a real pistol he was holding, Winston thought. Mrs. Parsons' eye fitted nervously from Winston to the children and back again. In the better light of the living room, he noticed with interest that there actually was dust in the creases of her face.
Dang.
"They do get so noisy," she said. "They're disappointed because they couldn't go see the hanging. That's what it is. I'm too busy to take them. and Tom will be back from work in time.
So they're just taking it out on her.
I can't see somebody die, so I'll harass somebody who's here to help. Why can't we go and see the hanging? Roared the boy in a huge voice. Want to see the hanging! Want to see the hanging! Chanted the little girl, still capering around. Some Eurasian prisoner, guilty of war crimes,
no doubt,
were to be hanged in the park that evening. I wonder if they look different. I wonder how they would know it was a Eurasian.
At one point, they have someone that has like darker skin or something in Winston Wonders, but I doubt there's really much of anything anybody knows about shit.
Winston remembered. This happened about once a month and was a popular spectacle. Children always clamored to be taken to see it.
Why? Would children really be that unaffected by watching death? I wonder.
I think it would fuck with their brains.
I remember being younger and searching for stuff like that, but always having an inkling that I was burying myself deep somewhere. Like, how much can I take? And plus, maybe school influences them. They just show them dead pictures all the time. I don't know, though. It would be interesting to know if it weren't for the fact you'd have to torture kids with dead bodies and stuff.
You take away their toys and they're fucked for life sometimes. You say the wrong thing. I'm still affected by don't ask questions.
Yeah.
So having
your
their life
awareness
ended.
of it is kind of dependent on a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And if you're never aware of it, then where does it exist in your mind? That's a conversation for another day.
He took his leave of Mrs. Parsons and made for the door, but he had not gone 6 steps down the passage when something hit the back of his neck with an agonizing, painful blow. It was as though a red-hot wire had been jabbed into him. He spun around in time to see Mrs. Parsons dragging her son back into the doorway while the boy pocketed a catapult.
Pocketed a catapult?
I guess maybe a slingshot or something. He got hit in the back.
Oh, okay.
Goldstain! Belled the boy as the door closed on behind him.
Sounds familiar.
Smoked him in the back of the head. Jeez. But what most struck Winston was the look of helpless fright on the woman's grayish face.
I can make my own happy faces on YouTube. Isn't that great? Oh, look. Well, somebody's watching and gives a shit. Oh, 100%.
Everything so 100s.
Okay, I'm done.
Back in the flat, he stepped quickly past the telescreen and sat down at the table again, still rubbing his neck. The music from the telescreen had stopped. Instead, a clipped military voice was reading out with a sort of brutal relish a description of the armaments of the new floating fortress, which had just been anchored between Iceland and the Faroe Islands.
It reminds me of Sailor Moon. Again, that floating circus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Floating circus, floating fortress.
Floating forks. There is no spoon.
Yes, indeed there is a spoon. With those children, he thought, that wretched woman must lead a life of terror. Another year, 2 years, they would be watching her night and day for symptoms of unorthodoxy.
Would you like a sip of water?
Yes, please.
Want to smell my armpits? You could probably smell it from there.
I've been doing it for 100, 100, 100.
Oh yeah, shit.
Pew, 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 pew.
For real, though.
For real, though. Nearly all children nowadays were horrible. What a good system. Children are horrible.
Yeah.
You think children are horrible now?
Yes.
Oh, well, shit.
There are some that aren't, but they probably hurt the most, and they probably get indoctrinated into a lot of that change things about yourself for whatever reason. You hurt not because everybody's treating you like shit, but because you were supposed to be born a different sex.
There was a kid in the news the other day, 5 years old, took a gun to school, shot his teacher. And they're like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, I shot that bitch dead. Those are the words that came out of a 5-year-old's mouth. Not to discard the fucking actions of getting the gun, bringing it to school, and using it.
Did they ask him how he felt afterwards, or did they just try him as an adult and give him the death penalty? Gotta take a moment of silence for fucking crazy.
What the fuck's going on with these kids' lives that they just... Same thing, I guess, with the Las Vegas shooter, the same shit.
Yeah.
They're just little... But everybody knows to do the right thing. Everybody's doing it right now. And our job is no longer needed, wife. We could retire.
Thank goodness. We did it, boys.
We did it. Mission fucking accomplished. Nobody's killing each other anymore. For dumb, stupid fucking reasons.
Justice has been done. Right, Mike Obama?
Michelle.
That's ma'am to you.
With those, they'd be searching for unorthodoxy. Nearly all children nowadays were horrible. What was worst of all was that by means of such organization as the spies, they were systematically turning into ungovernable little savages. And yet this produced in them no tendency whatever to rebel against the discipline of the party. On the contrary, they adored the party and everything connected with it. The songs, the processions, the banners, the hiking, the drill with the dummy rifles, the yelling of slogans, the worship of Big Brother. It was all a sort of glorious game to them. So let's see here. We'll do a little comparison.
Okay.
These are the things that the party does, and I think for us to do something, if we're doing something the party is doing, it's probably the wrong thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, why? I mean,
because these are things that the party has declared are good.
Mm-hmm.
So the party has songs that, they can play in the military music. I'm sure they have the Pledge of Allegiance.
They also control all the entertainment.
Yeah.
And you have to show enthusiasm, so eventually you're like, okay, all right, Netflix, I know that you made Cuties, but I want to watch the reiteration of Talk Soup, so you got me.
Yeah, I really like that Thor movie.
Ugh. And then eventually he's laughing because children are getting shot up. Why wouldn't children be nasty if that's the life that they're...
could be doomed to? They got processions. I can say the number of
Black
times.
parades.
Black parades.
Am I right, Joe Rogan's cousin?
any kind of parades like that for culture nonsense that embraces terrible things. The number of times traffic has been brought to a standstill because
I used to love Macy's Day Parade. There was these people who paid enough money into the thing to deem their name be on something that's important, right?
Yeah.
So, like, Garfield is a namesake, or namestake? I don't know what it...
Namesake.
It's a cultural thing because Macy's Day Parade, oh, look, here's Snoopy, oh, Big Bird, all this, all that. It's hard not to know all the intentions behind things. Especially when your mother fucking leaves you alone in the house all day and then says, wave to Santa for me. Fucking bitch.
Such a sassy child.
Yeah.
Banners. There's
flags.
Yeah. This represents me.
Well, it all started in the beginning of time when people were fighting for land and resources and stuff, and they would wave their fucking banners and say that we're truer than you and we deserve things more than you. If you do that, you do the things that Big Brother does, you do the things that government does or whatever, and you think you're conquering a thing that should exist. Banners and flags have existed forever, so if I have my own, it means that I'm separate from the thing that I needed to make my flag to show that I'm separated from.
Yeah.
But it's just perpetuating the same shit. Nobody knows that yet. You think people will figure it out eventually, or we're doomed?
No, we're not doomed, wife. We got a plan.
We're just before our time. Well, maybe when Black Lives Matter kills us, we'll be reincarnated in the future when things are better.
I call vending machine.
Shh. I call little boy in a cave with a bunch of slime.
Oh, you're gonna be the slime guy? Okay, you be the slime guy, and I will be the sweets person.
A sweets person? Well, why can't you be a vending machine? Because then I can have all the food and stuff.
Oh, I give you everything, baby. Oh, you want this?
Oh, well, yeah. What am I, your cat? Okay, vending machine is a bad idea. Do vending machines have penises?
This vending machine does.
Well, I choose vending machine.
All right. Guess what? I disabled the coin feature. You could just take what you need, baby.
Oh, yeah. My dream of eating ramen noodles all day, every day.
So there's hiking. I don't think there's a mandatory government hike, but
I think in Japan there is. They exercise. It's not government maybe, but I'm sure there's incentives for their job to do like those morning exercises.
Oh yeah,
and
there's
stuff.
Some of that stuff is mandatory.
I wouldn't want to do that because I don't want to be told what to do. Once you allow one little thing to affect your mandatory things that you need to do, where's the line? Now every business can, decide what you do, and they can take it to extremes, or they could.
Why can't I decide
exams.
What's best for me? Maybe it's not these calisthenics that you describe it.
Yeah, maybe I want to do it by myself, and I don't like this. This makes me feel uncomfortable. That's not okay. To feel uncomfortable. If I feel uncomfortable, I fucking feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about it though.
Let's not. No discourse. The drilling with dummy rifles. It's like the
playing army.
Yeah, and ROTC.
Oh yeah. Oh, but a man in uniform is so handsome. Shut up, Mom.
You got the 1984 right there in high school. Do all this.
Mm-hmm. Become a productive member of a society that you're still in the stages of rebelling against.
Yeah. Those the poor kids who get roped into ROTC in high school. Some of them, I've seen it.
That's like their life, right? They have to sleep and eat there. They got to eat GMO gruel. Learn how to be treated like a fucking prisoner.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're not a prisoner.
Where it's most important for you to really start to develop some adult-like things. We want to shut that down, and I want you to follow orders.
Where do children get the time to discover things for themselves? You are in school. By the time you gain sentience, at least, I mean, maybe it's like you got the age of 2.5 to 3 or some shit.
Basically, when you can choose not to poop your pants anymore is when you are shoved into this system.
Yeah. And no wonder people want to take a year off from college and explore the world. But everywhere you go, you find slavery. And it's not, I wish somebody would just give me shit for free. It's, holy shit, look at this world. Look how we got to where we are right now. That so many people, they don't have even land that they can grow their own crops on. They're forced into FDA approved freaking boiled milk. Dying and wondering, why do I got cancer? It can't be because my microbiome is different than it was for the last 800,000 years, because we can't trust big industry to make some nice fucking milk. But why should we anyway? Because people got stupid and lazy. They got incentivized to give up their land. They got incentivized to do everything that we are at now. And now the children of those people are like, wah, this concrete jungle should be mine. Wah.
Yeah. Don't see things for yourself.
How can you when everybody's telling you what time do you have?
When school says, because school doesn't teach that shit. You get pushed into it, and that's going to be your guiding for knowledge comes from school. That's where that
can't come from parents because they're too busy, like this chicken and that guy in 1984. We gotta work and make sure that everybody knows that we're the good citizen, and that fucking mopping a whole house takes like an hour. And then you gotta wash all the dishes, you gotta clean all the things, you gotta scrub all the bathrooms. It's a job in and of itself. And nobody has time. She could, I don't know, bring her kids along, but this is 1984 we're talking about. We're talking about the real world. I don't know, people probably would rather be on Twitter than teach their kids a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Paper looks like a joint. A little baby joint.
Oh, you make little marijuanas. I'm curious. Do you think so? Those kids just smoked Winston in the back of the head with that catapult, right? Mm-hmm. Or the boy did, not both of them, but
yeah.
And she was looking terrified. Do you think if she took her kids elsewhere that they might strike someone that could lead to her death?
Yeah, probably.
But they love the party.
It doesn't matter, because it's the chaos that consumes them, not the rules of the party. It's whatever somebody doesn't like. It's who has open season over everybody else.
Yeah, I guess kids.
And politicians can get away with whatever they want, and people are still like, ooh, not that one, but this one is the one that represents me. Because maybe he could get arrested if he fucked with the other side. Get out of here. No, it's not about, oh, what would have to be the thought process when someone decides if the thing that kid did is punishable?
Yeah.
If they're angry, I would imagine. Would they go through the process just like the people today? I know that my patient is scared and giving me a hard time, but they insulted me. They questioned my capacity, so I'm gonna give them too much ether or whatever they give them. And they'll die. Their heart will stop. The nurses coming out recently, you're killing people. I'm the angel of death. No, you're not. You make decisions. All this suicide stuff with these old people trying to convince them that just kill yourself because of resources. Never mind life or what it means to take life from someone. And to not value everyone's life because you want your own life valued.
Maybe under the guise of, the future. But that's not, you're not helping the future by telling...
What is happening to the future when you're just telling them, kill everybody? In Stargate Atlantis, they have that one when the kids turn 23, they kill themselves so that their protective dome...
or is it 18 or something like that? I thought it was fairly young.
It's 23.
23?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. But it doesn't really matter. So they take their own life when they turn 23 so that the crop can continue to grow of people. But what is life when you're doing shit like that anyway? And they make it seem all like mystical. They give them dreads or whatever. They give them little sacks to play in. But it's not that innocent.
No.
And nothing can ever be controlled like that. So it's like the default would be just lots of anger, I think. I forgot what we were talking about because I'm angry.
There's no room for anything else sometimes.
Not when people believe a thing. People believe a thing, and then one by one, the people who believe those things get torched. So it's like the group ideology, but then one by one they go, wait, I didn't sign up for this. Wait, I didn't understand. Wait, don't take my life. I'm not part of this thing that,
Yeah, like the communists did.
Yeah. Well, hold on a minute. Now that I'm the victim of... This isn't fair. I made a mistake. Well... Yeah, that's why we got John Forsythe.
You did. That's why we got John Forsythe.
Let's not use our human abilities. Let's not evolve them like fucking Pokemon. Let's go play Pokemon Go and jerk off on our pillows.
My waifu! All their ferocity was turned outwards against the enemies of the state, against foreigners, traitors, saboteurs, thought criminals. It was almost normal for people over 30 to be frightened of their own children. And with good reason, for hardly a week passed in which the Times did not carry a paragraph describing how some eavesdropping little sneak, quote, child hero, was the phrase generally used, had overheard some compromising remark and denounced his parents to the thought police. The sting of the catapult bullet had worn off. He picked up his pen half-heartedly, wondering whether he could find something more to write in the diary. Suddenly, he began thinking of O'Brien again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, O'Brien.
O'Brien, so dreamy. I hate to party,
He wants his power. Why would you talk shit about college and then also use that frustration to become frustrated about other hold on, because I was going to use the philosophy as an example, but that's a reverse example. You put a lot of stake in your time in college. Even though college was a bad time for you, you still use the resources that aren't resourceful to you. You know?
Yeah.
When we talk about some science things, and I'm like, can you explain this to me? You use their language, and when I ask you a question, all you know is how to reiterate the thing that they say. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Sometimes I forget where that... I don't keep the bubble of knowledge. Like, I learned it here. Why am I not questioning where I got it from?
So you don't have a separation between the things you know to be true and the things you heard?
Things I guess I learned from...
Because it was survival, right?
Yeah.
You had to know that this is just how math works instead of being... to know yourself how that math works.
Yeah.
To understand the reason behind it. You're taught at an early stage... I wanted to use it as an example, but... You're told you have one breadstick and another breadstick, but they don't teach like that throughout the whole of math.
No.
Or that sometimes theories aren't true. They're just freaking theories.
Yeah. This stuff really doesn't work.
Yeah, but I just have to teach you it because...
You have to know the Bohr model. The Bohr model is a theory and doesn't work beyond the very first fucking element. If you try to use any of the other elements, it collapses. But that is the basis of chemistry understanding.
What? Wait, what's the Bohr model?
The Bohr...
I'm already bored.
There is... It's... Okay, so there's the things that make up the center... an atom's or an element. There's the protons, the neutrons, the electrons.
Mm-hmm.
The Bohr model is what helped develop that, and like where there are extra electrons and how many neutrons and protons can exist.
Wait, so the scientific table? What is it called? The periodic table. The periodic table is bullshit. The elemental weight and stuff.
You can, I guess, I believe you can observe, you can measure the weight of things, and from that you can
assume how many electrons,
infer some things. But where like those things exist, like the teaching of...
You mean the model, like the picture, the depiction of an element or molecule, or is just... Like that thing in the center, the proton with the electron circling around it?
Yeah.
That's the Bohr model?
Yeah.
The literal picture that they make depicting...
And where those electrons exist. Because they say, oh, it's in the outer shell. It's in the...
Oh my goodness. I dropped chemistry because I wanted that to be explained to me. Where do you get this picture? So they assigned me a freaking tutor... And who is just in the same class as me. And she draws these pictures. And I'm like, but what does it mean? What is the relationship going on here that creates other things? Couldn't fucking... So I said, you know what? Fuck you. And I left. And now I understand more about chemicals because nobody told us that everything is magnets. That's how it starts. Magnets are electric or chemical.
Yep.
And it's just the evolution of that. And once that sinks in, it applies everywhere. And there's a whole other knowledge skill tree that can be observed, even without a microscope, to understand what the relationship between a proton and electron could be. They make neutrons. Prove me wrong. And don't quote a science book. Yeah. Use your own words, big boy.
I bet you can't.
Well,
But
I ain't got no money, so I ain't betting shit. The scientists worked really hard on it. They worked really hard on the Bohr model. I bet you that's why they call it the Boring Company. Because he knows he's just as much bullshit as fucking William Bohr.
Alexander
Bohr. Emmanuel. Who gives a shit? He's wrong. We shouldn't be learning about him.
Yeah, and he's and one of the things that like I've heard it in like nerd joke circles and stuff. Alexander Bohr, I think that's his name, has been one of the few people to have won a Nobel Prize and have been wrong.
Was he Jewish? Just kidding. Not really. Maybe. I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Everybody's a Zionist nowadays.
Did they retract it?
Nope.
Did they start teaching something different? Or
Nope.
they just don't have anything to replace it?
They got nothing to replace it.
Electrons and protons make neutrons?
They don't exist in these weird shells.
Like, yeah, wait, it's like, it's energy and matter, so it's a single center that probably expands outside in some sort of circumference, the spherical circumference, and there's touching of like synapses or something.
Electrical charges
They're just
that
not little balls.
don't allow, because if there are,
Smooth surfaces?
there's only so much for like and unlike charges to exist and still be attached to, you know, the nucleus is my guess.
Wait, nucleus?
The center of the protons and the neutrons.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah.
if you're trying to, you got the big magnets, you probably can only have, if you want them to rotate around a center and have them not shoot off in other directions, you could probably only have two at the beginning. And if you want to have more rotate, there's probably some sort of system that I don't know because I haven't done the work. That maybe there's some natural thing that only electrons can exist in this certain state, and there happen to be 4 here for these given number of things.
There's a lot about the world we don't know, but we pretend to know.
Mm-hmm.
And it really fucks things up.
Big time. Big time. Okay. Oh yeah, here's we'll get back to this. He was thinking about O'Brien again. La la la. His boyfriend.
Ooh, Brian.
O'Brien. Speaking of Brian, every time we watch the Stargate Atlantis.
With the Janai.
With the Janai.
Watching O'Brien being a general.
I do not like him. It's like, I just wish they'd go away.
He has such a smug face.
It's just nasty.
I just want him to see him kissing his little Japanese wife and maintaining a deck.
Could you just fix things for me, O'Brien? Just grab that spanner like Winston.
They don't call him Calm Meanie for nothing.
What a calm meanie. Years ago, how long was it? 7 years it must be. He had dreamed that he was walking through a pitch dark room, and someone sitting to one side of him had said as he passed, "We shall meet in the place where there is no darkness." It was said very quietly. Almost,
in his dream, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was said very quietly, almost casually, a statement, not a command. He had walked on without pausing. What was curious was at the time, in the dream, the words had not made much impression on him. It was only later, and by degrees, that they had seemed to take on significance. He could not now remember whether it was before or after having the dream that he had seen O'Brien for the first time. Nor could he remember when he had first identified the voice of a voice as O'Brien's. So he heard O'Brien's voice
it's that
in a dream.
place in his imagination that he doesn't understand that O'Brien is going to end up manipulating. Probably. I don't know. I never read the book.
Spoilers. It was... couldn't remember O'Brien. But at any rate, the identification existed. It was O'Brien who had spoken to him out of the dark. Winston had never been able to feel sure. Even after this morning's flash of the eyes, it was still impossible to be sure whether O'Brien was a friend or an enemy. Nor did it even seem to matter greatly. There was a link of understanding between them more important than affection or partisanship. We shall
find that out at the end.
Yeah.
If that be true.
We shall meet in the place where there is no darkness, he had said. Winston did not know what it meant, only that in some way or another it would come true. The voice from the telescreen paused, a trumpet call.
He's working towards O'Brien because that's his intention. He thinks about O'Brien all the time, so of course he's going to have a meeting with O'Brien eventually. And he knows that O'Brien knows that he's fit to print or whatever. He has the personification of someone to look up to, someone to think about, because he has more than you, or he has something
Status.
Yeah. 1 second. So of course if he's thinking about him, he living rent free in someone's mind.
Oh yeah.
Is the way the children try to describe it these days. And that's going to lead him towards him, because if you're thinking about your enemy or thinking about someone, you're giving them energy, because you will be looking at their stuff or liking their stuff or this way and that.
And they're not your friends. You obsess over that stuff, and they're not your friends. They're taking up your time.
But the imagination dictates that I will make you feel like you're my friend. Thanks, guys. Your support means so much to me. Please like and subscribe. It's be my friend from afar. And not what things truly are.
It'd be nice if there were some friends not afar.
For who, us?
Yeah. Well, for everybody.
Yeah. Well, who
That's
knows?
value in the real world.
If they were to make them closer, if PewDiePie made his people closer, for example, then they would feel like they could touch him. And, hey, it's Jordy, whatever his fucking name is. And he has said before that makes him feel uncomfortable, because there is a distance. You may see me every day, but I don't fucking see you every day. And that relationship isn't really understood by anyone, because they still, maybe if I spend enough time here, I'll be noticed or something, instead of, I don't know, you can't really have a casual relationship online like that, because they're gonna say something that you don't like, and you won't be able to debate them over it, and then you end up resenting them, or I don't know how, there's so many. Those are just two of many examples.
Many possibilities where it could go wrong.
Yeah.
And we know it goes wrong because it happens all the fucking time.
Yeah, I don't fucking watch anybody because I'm tired of their bullshit.
Nobody's here trying to fucking talk.
No.
I haven't seen, when I peruse the live streams, I don't see anybody trying to actively engage in discussion. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of YouTube videos that are like, oh, I like to know what you think. And there's just people posting things. There's no where's the engagement? Where's the discourse?
Where's the
there?
benefit? What are we working towards? We need something to work towards in order to make a discourse worth it. And if people are just playing Fortnite, then what does it matter? The only thing I want to hear is you feeding my ego and giving me Starbucks gift cards, whatever they do. Twitter points.
With $500 PS 7 now. Click this NFT.
Can't even with that bullshit.
The voice from the telescreen paused. A trumpet call, clear and beautiful, floated into the stagnant air. The voice continued raspingly. Attention! Your attention, please. A news flash. Has this moment arrived from the Malabar front? Our forces in South India have won a glorious victory. I am authorized to say that the action we are now reporting may well bring the war within measurable distance of its end. Here is the news flash. Bad news coming, thought Winston. And sure enough, following on a gory description of the annihilation of a Eurasian army, with stupendous figures of killed and prisoners, came the announcement that as from next week, the chocolate rations would be reduced from 30 grams to 20.
Funny, they're already 15.
You were just making that up? Or did I say earlier? Because I think somebody was rattling war figures off earlier. Anyways, Winston belched again. The gin was wearing off, leaving a deflated feeling. The telescreen, perhaps to celebrate the victory, perhaps to drown the memory of the lost chocolate, crashed into Oceania. 'Tis for thee. You were supposed to stand at attention. However, in his present position, he was invisible. Oceania, 'tis for thee, gave way to lighter music. Winston walked over to the window, keeping his back to the telescreen. The day was still cold and clear. Somewhere far away, a rocket bomb exploded with a dull, reverberating roar. About 20 or 30 of them a week were falling on London at present. Down in the street, the wind flapped a torn poster to and fro, and the word Ingsoc fitfully appeared and vanished. Ingsoc. The sacred principles of Ingsoc. Newspeak, doublethink, the mutuality of the past. He felt as though he were wandering into the forests of a sea bottom, lost in a monstrous world where he himself was the monster. He was alone. The past was dead, the future was unimaginable.
Why is he the monster? Why do you think?
I'm not sure, wife. I'm trying to think about it, and I haven't come up with anything yet. Because he is thinking about the past and the future, which is outside the party thing, which is outside what he is supposed to. So I could see easily how he could be a monster in his own thoughts.
Like he's keeping himself from just being party friendly?
Yeah.
It's really hard to hold on to yourself. And it's the point of people is when you go on Twitter and they're like, you're just this, you're just that. If you say, no, I'm not, if you say anything, really, even if you don't say anything, there's a part of you attached to you where someone has made a judgment about you, and it's like they're trying to slice you with a knife. So if somebody calls him a monster, that feeling of monstrousness, or whoever I am, I suck, or whatever, is probably very forefront. He's always gotta watch out for being caught. So why wouldn't he be a monster?
Yeah. Ingsaw, Newspeak, the bottom he was. The past was dead and the future unimaginable. Why certainty? What certainty had he that a single human creature now living was on his side? In what way?
I can relate to that. There are times where I don't even have you on my side. Not a dang thing. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
It does matter, wife. That sucks. And it's my fucking fault. I should be on your side all the goddamn time.
I'm on your side just because I don't agree with you. It's always coming together and not coming apart. And people think that they should just be chased to that point. If you don't believe me, then we're enemies. If you don't take everything I say as God speak, you're my enemy. Don't call me out, because I'll tell you to fuck off. Way she goes.
It's being teachers. And what way of knowing that the dominion of the party would not endure forever? Like an answer, the three slogans on the white face of the Ministry of Truth came back at him. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. He took a 25-cent piece out of his pocket. There, too, in tiny clear lettering, the same slogans were inscribed, and on the other face of the coin that was the head of Big Brother. Even from the coin, the eyes pursued you, good lord. On coins, on stamps, on covers of books, on banners, on posters, on the wrapping of a cigarette packet, everywhere. Always the eyes watching you, and the voice enveloping you. Asleep or awake, working or eating, indoors or out of doors, in the bath or in bed, no escape. Nothing was your own except the few cubic centimeters inside your skull.
But even that will be disproved.
Yeah.
Any space that a person doesn't control, someone else can control. O'Brien finds somewhere that Winston didn't know about. He used it to his to Winston's disadvantage.
Yeah, and now he's thinking about O'Brien in a lot of weird ways.
Well, he wants someone, and he sees someone that's a public figure that he doesn't know is an enemy or isn't an enemy. And it's hard to not give yourself in some way to someone, even if they're far away, to define something about yourself or to just feel like you have some sort of support. I think everywhere in our minds has been shown to us because it was somebody tried to conquer it. And wherever the self doesn't make the decision to have that thing in there through lots of freaking trial and error, that part of them is going to be controlled. If you go to McDonald's, then McDonald's has a hold over you. Even McDonald's has a hold over everybody because who doesn't know its symbol? Symbolism is, it stays with you.
Yeah, they're
jingles stay with you, and it's inappropriate that nobody really takes into account that their mind is not their own, and they're just letting all these people flood all these parts of their head with things. Well, Futurama with those commercials that go on in your dreams, why not? They do everything else. They influence you in every other way.
Yeah, might as well just let them into your brain.
If you don't start fighting forward, you're just gonna keep defending backwards. Hey, sweet boy. I ain't got no chicken for you. I apologize. My toes continue to be inedible.
Nom, nom, nom. The sun had shifted round, and the myriad of windows of the Ministry of Truth, with the light no longer shining on them, looked grim as the loopholes of a fortress. His heart quailed before the enormous pyramidal shape. It was too strong. It could not be stormed. 1,000 rocket bombs would not batter it down. He wondered again from whom he was writing the diary. For the future, for the past, for an age that might be imaginary. And in front of him there lay not death, but annihilation. The diary would be reduced to ashes, and himself vapor. Only the thought police would read what had been written before they wiped it out of existence and out of memory. How could you make it appeal to the future when not a trace of you, not even an anonymous word scribbled on a piece of paper, could physically survive?
Kind of reminds me of Fresh and Savvy B.
Yeah.
Well, you just can't use our platform, but that's the platform that gets heard. And when YouTube fights, when the law says that YouTube can just shut all the other platforms down because they have that power, because they have the power to shut down everything else, to swallow everything else, throw a couple $1 million, what is money?
Yeah. Things in place to prevent competition. I don't know. Well, we're on 3 platforms right now, but they are not the beast that YouTube is.
And what happens when the dick party between Bezos and Musk is finally settled, or whatever? Musk doesn't own YouTube, but Google does. Somebody's there. There's a few men that want to control all the things, and when you get too big, the government is like, nah.
You're not giving us enough.
You're not protecting people enough. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. It starts with a bad conversation of what is freedom.
There's a control that the government wants, and they realize that
maybe it's not just government control, because in theory, say it's an organization called the Zionists or something. I don't know. I just made that word up. And they go to the government and say, this is your job. We're not going to give you money anymore if you don't do something about this. And they're like, duh, I don't know what to do. What it seemed like to me, for a lot of things, is that the government joins the conversation later.
Yeah.
And they're like, so you're saying, what is the difference between a man and a woman? Oh, I can't answer that question myself either, so, well, I guess we're just gonna do whatever I say to do after this discussion is over. It's stupid to the power of power.
All the power.
And that equals where we are on a measurement of stupid.
Put that in your function and graph it.
Math jokes.
Bow. Nerd.
You read, I'm gonna get some more milk.
Okay, wife. The telescreen struck 14. He must leave in 10 minutes.
That's not time. What's 14 o'clock? Jesus.
He must leave in 10 minutes. He had to be back at work at 14:30. Curiously, the chiming of the hour seemed to have put new heart into him. But so long as he uttered it in some obscure way, the continuity was not broken. It was not by making yourself heard, but by staying sane that you carried on in human heritage. He went back to the table, dipped his pen, and wrote. to the future or the past, to a time when thought is free, when men are different from one another and do not live alone, to a time when truth exists and what is done cannot be undone. From the age of uniformity, from the age of solitude, from the age of Big Brother, from the age of doublethink, greetings.
I wish I heard that, but that's okay.
I'll read it again. It's kind of...
It's alright. It's not for me.
Everything's for you, wife. If it's not, we'll make it that way. Take that, gravity. No. He was already dead, he reflected. It seemed to him that it was only now, when he had begun to be able to formulate his thoughts, that he had taken the decisive step.
He wasn't already dead. I mean, it's kind of morbid. That's what people say, well, I'm gonna die, so I'm already dead. So I might as well just hang out on the internet all day and get welfare checks.
That dude I was talking to here on the old Twitch, that clown guy, Jersey Bill or whatever his name is. I was talking to him and he was saying he's just living to die.
Yeah. So here's the theory: what if you don't die? If that's where we're gonna be, I can't live like that because I'll just die right now. And then what does anything mean for anybody?
Nothing. It doesn't mean fucking anything.
Oh, for your children. Some people don't want children because they don't even... Why would you bring... Like Steve-O. Why would you bring children into this world? Then why are you doing anything? Because you're afraid to kill yourself? Why'd you even go to rehab, you know?
Right? Because I want to make better things into this world, and there's an opportunity to implant better things, to avoid the pains, to avoid all the bad shit.
Because some people have the opportunity to just, like that thing from Spirited Away, just swallow up anything it can consume. And the end. Chef Boyardee. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Why not? Life doesn't matter.
Nope. That's weird that you said that. I was looking in the news there, wife. And there was something, I didn't go into it, but the headline was that everyone's rate of, like, who get cancer, they did some big study, I think.
They did something they call a study.
Yeah, something they call a study. You get more cancer, and it's they blamed it mostly on diet.
Oh?
Western diet.
Oh, yeah, because eating frickin', what is that guy, that Russian Bliat guy, eat? Dr. Sausage?
Oh, yeah, Dr. Sausage.
Mayonnaise?
Yeah, yes.
What are those chickens eating?
Oh, yeah, Boris, that's who it is.
Still apologizing for the Russian race, I assume?
Oh, I understand vaccinations to protect your country.
Shit, what were we saying? I forgot.
That they're blaming everybody's cancer on their poor diet.
Oh, so what are they gonna do about it? Have them eat bugs? Is the government gonna take notice and start saying, hey, why are we giving all of these rights to middlemen? Why don't we give the rights to the people so that they can hold on to their land? Just like WW2. Just like the Constitution. Because they don't want it, they want that chaos. They don't give a shit. Now, maybe now the government should give you food stamps for organic food. They do already. Sorry. That sucks.
I feel like it's a move for power.
Yeah.
Because what
it all is.
We've been talking about how good food is for such a long time.
It's observable by the individual.
Yeah.
Hey, if I have good system and belly, maybe I not diarrhea all the time.
Yeah.
Takes a few years to figure out.
the health of somebody who drinks unboiled milk and eats fresh fruits and vegetables compared to the motherfucker who is eating Little Debbie's and Mountain Dew. Oh, you don't feel as good as me? Change your diet.
Or they say you're lying.
Lying. Just lies. My own experience.
Believe the people that intent to take everything from you, that make you so frustrated, just like Big Brother. Hello, Socrates.
What are you doing there, buddy?
Please give us some words of wisdom. You got anything? Speak it to the microphone. Sorry, I took that from you.
It got out there, that's the point. The consequences of every act are included in the act itself. He wrote, "Thought crime does not entail death. Thought crime is death."
Oh yeah, they don't have like a death penalty or even like laws against it. I think thought crime, there's no book. People just talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Sucks. You're not supposed to say the N-word.
Nigga hush. Now that he had recognized himself as a dead man, it became important to stay alive as long as possible.
So he's not just a defeatist, like, I'm dead, so whatever. There's nothing else to do. Live it up.
Yeah.
And the only thing to do is to fight for freedom.
Live it up is you have to live.
Yeah. Die it up.
2 fingers of his right hand were ink-stained. It was exactly the kind of detail that might betray you. Some nosing zealot in the ministry, a woman probably, and we know how much Winston loves fucking women.
Julia.
Someone like the little sandy-haired woman or the dark-haired girl from the fiction department might start wondering why he had been writing during the lunch interval.
But O'Brien wouldn't be observant of that, right?
No.
Men hate women. Naturally, it's one of those, just like we naturally can't make those decisions if we don't know what decisions are and everything is chaos or whatever I was talking about before. I think they naturally also hate women. Would you agree
There's
with?
a predisposition to it.
Yeah.
And we live in an environment where those predispositions are
And just as a
fed.
thought experiment, if there's a woman who's got a son, and that son's told, time to go to war. And he's like, okay, and mom's like, no, don't do that to me. Is it easier to leave when you love her, or easier to leave when you think she's a raving idiot?
Idiot. That's mine.
There's very distinct places, I think, that people can see where a wedge is divided into. Instead of learning about each other, we're always like, blah, 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 blah.
Devaluing. Yeah.
Yeah. Comedians got women so right. Oh, but women comedians.
Women's with your periods and stuff. Am I right, fellas?
The sacrifices we have to make to do this. I want my air conditioner.
Yeah, that's a little warm. So they might start wondering why he had been writing during the lunch interval. Why he had used an old-fashioned pen. What had he been writing? Then drop a hint in the appropriate quarter. He went to the bathroom and carefully scrubbed the ink away.
There's a mirror, a camera in there. They already seen it. He thinks he's so well. He's like, well, he's got to live, so he's just doing the best he can.
Yeah, just doing the best he can. He went to the bathroom and carefully scrubbed the ink away with the gritty dark brown soap, which rasps your skin like sandpaper, and was therefore well adapted for this purpose. He put the diary away in the drawer. It was quite useless to think of hiding it, but he could at least make sure, whether or not its existence had been discovered. A hair laid across the page ends was too obvious. With the tip of his finger, he picked up an identifiable grain of whitish dust and deposited it on the corner of the cover, where it was bound to be shaken off if the book was moved.
That's all you get.
That's the end of chapter 2.
Oh, snap. We'd be on chapter 3?
Yeah.
Huh. That seemed very short in comparison to the last one. How long we been at this? 4 hours again?
Where's the timer here? Goodness gracious.
Doesn't say.
Doesn't say for
I thought there was
2
a timer.
hours.
Oh, okay.
a little more than 2 hours.
Should we do another?
Maybe a little later. I think that's a good place to stop.
Okay.
We made it somewhere in the book. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we talked about other things along the way.
Hopefully, I don't know what I say. I just let the spirit of time and space carry me.
You just ramble like everybody else on fucking Twitter.
I'm Black Betty Ramble-Lamb.
Ramble-lamb. Love you, wife.
Love you.
Till next times.